look who it is. It's the three of us back again.
Good day, good day.
Hey, now, Michael, I can see you've got Metatron's Flower of Life there behind you, and we've got a special guest coming on later, Rama Douglas, and I've just found out that his Instagram handle is Metatron's Doob, and I'm like, you cannot get better.
I love that. Very cool. Very cool.
We're all loving Metatron. Like, Chris, you've got a special Metatron too, don't you?
Love the Metatron. Love the big fella. Right.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of controversy around Metatron in the lightworker community. A lot of people are telling us that that's taking the spiral back into the descension timeline. So there's a bit of conjecture about who Metatron is, but for me, when I tune into Metatron, he's nothing but helpful. He's actually assisted me to heal many times, particularly my scapula, because Chris and I do a lot of astral missions. For some reason, my scapula, which I perceive as my angel wings, often gets targeted, and I can wake up the next morning, be very sore in the scapula. It's this special healing that he does on me, and it just releases it. So yeah, fascinating.
Wow. Beautiful.
What about you, Michael? How would you describe Metatron? How do you connect to Metatron?
I feel he doesn't come to me as much as other folks, but in group work, I feel connected sometimes with him. Very powerful energy. I find it quite grounding personally. Quite a grounding frequency for me. Again, like anything can be twisted, inverted, and blah 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 these days, you know. So I feel like you just got to trust your gut and your intuition, and the energies. It's been very, like when I've worked with him, a magenta gold kind of frequency comes through, and a very pure and a very kind of healing, you know, like you said, a very healing light, which I don't feel is untoward, which I feel is really, and I love what you mentioned about the scapula, because I get that too, around the back of the wings, if you will. And I think many of us who've had lifetimes having our wings clipped for one reason or another do have a tendency to have that sort of the back heart go out a little, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well described. How would you describe Metatron, Chris?
Where do you start? Wow, what a phenomenon. He's extraordinarily powerful when it comes to messages and also his insight. You know, he's literally, in my astral journeys and the things that I've done with him, he's the messenger of God. Like, he's the right-hand man. So when you need a message brought to Earth, it literally is translated and transformed through him. He's a legion of angels underneath him. But he can be everything from light and dark to, you know, the shadow side, everything that we are, he's a mirror of. Hence the reason for his cube is that it's humanity and life within that. That's how we play it out. So, you know, he's the holder of the gems. He's an extraordinary angel and has gone through so many different dimensions to get to where he is today. So it's just a plethora of wisdom and information. Hence, he can also be very controversial. There's many people out there that see, you know, probably the darker side to him as well. But, you know, my only advice on that is, you know, take a bit of a look in the mirror too, because if you're reflecting that's the energy that's coming. So that's the lessons that you're probably wanting to learn, because he'll only attach himself like a magnet to what you are. And he's extraordinarily adaptable. So, yeah, one of a kind. He's an absolute powerhouse. Love him to death.
I love that about the translation from the source code or the goddess code for the humans. And I really feel we need to hone in on that to truly understand who these angels are, their aspects of self. You know, we're all angels, we're earth angels. But how can we decode? So if there's that messaging system, and I always love looking at the galactic side, the angelic side, in terms of how they're presenting technology to us. Well, we know we've got Messenger. There's a reason for these codes. There's a reason that it's inbuilt in our computer systems, our devices, different apps that we use. We need that messaging system. So angels can be used for that decode, that messaging system. And so they're very, very important and absolute allies to us. And of course, there are, darker entities out there. We can look at Lucifer as a classical example of the fallen angel, but we too are fallen angels in the human form. That doesn't mean we're wrong. There is always an opportunity in the God, Goddess, kingdom, queendom to rise again. We're never, someone actually asked me the other day was, Michael, Chris, we get some pretty big questions come in on our messenger, on our Facebook messenger. And how can you really answer it? And someone asked me, do I believe that hell is a place that we get stuck in? Absolutely not. For me, hell is an internal environment because we keep taking the lower road. We keep allowing the ego to win instead of taking the road of integrity. But how do you know where the road of integrity is unless you've taken the lower road many, many times? And so it's all part of the descension timeline that we come into as part of our galactic journey until we have the awakening, and then we move into the ascension timeline. The ascension timeline sounds easy. Oh no. That's when the tests get very, very refined. And you almost feel like lately I've felt like I'm walking a bit of a tightrope in terms of what action to take. And many of you listening here know that, I feel like I've finally arrived, guys, in the truth of community. I'm here. I'm arrived. I've been targeted, called out. You're Carrie, you're full of shit. And I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'm in the, you got to be a good truther, right? If you get called out. So I reckon I've earned my stripes now. So, but when that's happening, you go, okay, well, how do I defend myself? Do I say nothing? So you're walking that tightrope because you want to come from love, but sometimes love is fierce. And so, all of these ultra refined tests come in for all of us. For you, Michael, having done this work for so many years, someone said in a comment yesterday about you, I think it was back in 2017, she was receiving downloads about the Emerald tablets, and I know you channel those. And she said you were the only person at the time that she could connect to that could give her some confirmation of what she was receiving. So I imagine for you over the years, you've had to deal with a lot of people saying, hey, you're crazy. Where are you getting this from? So do you want to speak to that?
Well, that's for sure. But, so what would I say to that? I mean, I think just as you beautifully said, there's when you're on this path that from your heart that you're on this path and this is what you need to be, the way that your service work unfolds in the world, even though sometimes as you do speak out or own your truth, that there are, I guess, negative consequences or initially negative consequences from others. And often, that's a myriad of reasons, whether it's their own personal stuff or a bit of projection or just fear of the unknown. I mean, I think that's what started when I first started doing my stuff, when light language wasn't as kind of out there in the open, back about 10 years ago. It was a little weird for people, and it still is for some people. So I think that you just have to, the right people will always align with you. And as you go through a shift and an upgrade, then some people may fall away and some people may go in a different direction. And that's something that's happened again and again through the process of my work, that, tribe has shifted as I've shifted. Some people follow you. Some people go on a different direction, which is their soul journey. That's fine. Sometimes a little sad, when you get attached to people. But, it's also, I wish them well on their journey. But yeah, it's definitely, I think the more light you hold, as a truther, as a light worker, whatever one, it's Starseed, whatever you want to call yourself, that will attract both positive energy and potentially negative. So I guess personally, it's been a how do I deal with that? Through my own woundings that get triggered around that, through my own anger, even, rage, grief, all of it. How do I process that and take that on the journey of building my container to support people? Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And we wanted to speak to the healing, light worker, truther community in general at the moment, because I know a lot of people do feel they are being targeted. Not necessarily, some of it has bled into the 3D where it's, you know, human interactions that have gone chaotic. But a lot of people are experiencing, whether we call it the archon energy, demonic energy. And for anyone that's listening that may be new to this kind of language, we're not trying to frighten you. It's just talking about the, you know, the polarity realm that the 3D, 4D is in, which is, you know, the light and the dark. Nothing wrong with it, all there to service, and ultimately all there to help us, to propel us into that ascension timeline, because we definitely need to test our mettle as soul beings. But we just want to sort of normalize for anyone, if you're finding that you're a healer and there's some strange energy coming through clients, be aware that the fourth dimensional overlay where those archon energies sit, know how to manipulate certain humans like a puppet on a string, and move that darker frequency or that demonic frequency through that person. That does not make that person demonic. It just means that they temporarily get hijacked. So it's really important for healers to know that that is happening. Hold ground, you know, be light. But also, if you yourself know that you've been hijacked a little bit, clean up what's going on in your world. You know, if you're drinking too much, get it back to balance. If you're smoking too much marijuana, get it back to balance. You know, everything's got to come into alignment and balance. We're not going to say anything's right or wrong. You won't hear, you know, us kind of light work talk about that. We don't live at extremes. We live in center. So where's the center point for everyone? You know, find your way where you clean up your internal environment so you're not attracting, you know, some of these entity attachments. But I'll let you have a chat about that as well, Chris, how we can kind of make sure that we're not getting attached, you know, by those demonic forces.
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot in our everyday life. I mean, first and foremost, you know, we are a human entity, so we're a very highly emotional walking species. So a lot of things attach to us, because when you're walking around with a plethora of emotions coming out of you all the time, usually, you know, they can range in one day. We can go from happy to sad to giggling with laughter to, you know, crying our hearts out. And it all depends on the news that's around us or the circumstances, whether something's happened at work or a family, or you get a phone call, we can instantly change from one to the other. So we are a very desirable subject for, I guess you could call it, if it's dark entities or demonic type entities to attach to, because we go up and down like a radar. Usually those demonic entities come in when we are at our lowest, when we are feeling defeated and run down and upset, and they will come in and feed off that. That's like a magnet to them. That's fuel for their fire. So they come in, attach. It's literally like putting their claws into you. Sometimes you feel pain. When you feel pain, it's not just emotional pain. Like if you're going through a very traumatic experience, it's body pain too. There's a lot of metaphysical stuff to it. So from that point of view, yeah, the demonic type characters that attach to us can easily be erased as well, because the sooner that you do the work and you do the energy work and you do the cleansing of whatever's causing that trauma, they'll literally release the claws, they'll release the grip, because it's no longer an alignment to them, that doesn't resonate, that energy. So from that point of view, yeah, it's easily to attract, but it's easily to dismiss as well. And we're still learning that as a very infant race here on Earth. You know, we're only in a third dimension race here, or third dimensional platform. So we are literally, it's like on the job experience. We're working as we go along. We're upgrading. We're learning all these different tricks of the trade. And just as much as the demonic side, we also have the powerful, more magnificent type of energy that comes in as well, which is usually, you know, your guardians or the ones that are there to assist you through the journey. And sometimes you can really feel that when you're feeling uplifted, empowered, confident, strong, got my shit together, I'm heading in this direction. Usually that's them telling you, hey, you're on the right path here. So I think we're all smart enough to understand the discernment between the two, but it's alive and well. Trust me,
Yeah.
All those energies.
Yes, and you know, this is why it seems like a bit of a dichotomy, or there might even be a better word for that. It's not just dichotomy too, it's like multidimensional, because many people, they are just in that frequency bandwidth of the 3D, we might call it, that density frequency bandwidth of the third dimension. For other people, they're vibrating fifth dimensional consciousness, even up to seventh dimensional consciousness while still embodied. You know, there's very powerful, almost ascended master type beings here. So it's almost, you know, it's a melting pot of frequency. And this is why for so many having that huge awakening in 2020, they're looking around going, how can you think like that? How can you be following the dictates of the government or the cabal? How could, you know, why can't you see what I'm seeing? And so we're seeing the overlapping of the dimensional frequencies, and it can get very frustrating. And that's why conversations like this is so important, because we can just normalize it. We say no one's wrong, everyone's just interacting, but it creates a springboard for growth, because if you're starting to vibrate in a fifth dimensional unconditional loving frequency, you're looking at those third dimensional beings and you don't want to hate on them, you don't understand them, but you don't choose to hate on them. How do you make your way through that? How can you assist your brothers and sisters who are still asleep at the wheel of their own consciousness, of their own life, and hold that loving frequency? And this is where the tests, again, get very, very refined if you're on that ascension journey. So because I know there's a lot of angst out there and a lot of venom about people who haven't awoken, and it's like, but they're at where they're at. That's perfect for where their soul journey is. So, you know, it's a continuum. The soul consciousness is a continuum, and it never ends. And we've been there. That's how we know what we know. We've been in those lower frequency bandwidths, and it's not right, it's not wrong, it's not anything. We have to go multidimensional to our highest dimensional self and say, it just is. It's perfect. It's the 3D mind that wants to label right, wrong, good, bad. But it segues us into, because last show, if anyone's just joining on this show, go back to part 1 of Starseed's Guide to the Galaxy and have a look at, you know, the way we explore different star being codes, qualities, frequencies, characteristics. You definitely want to join in on that one, because Michael was bringing through light language frequency to anchor those codes or to awaken the memory codes within you. So we definitely look at the positively polarized star beings in that show. And we'll get back to the positively polarized star beings, but we're going to have a look at the negatively polarized star beings to begin with, because we certainly need to go there. So this is where it becomes Chris and Michael's show. I'm just going to host from here. I'll probably butt in a lot.
Previously, but do you want to go there with regards to a bit of negativity, or let's just say confusion that is happening in the globe at the moment? And we won't spend too long on it. We'll just touch on it because that's what we do. Is that might as well address the white elephant in the room. No one else is. There's a lot going on the planet right now, and if we isolate good old Uncle Sam at the moment over in the US of A, there's literally a complete clusterfuck happening over there, and that's French for clusterfuck. And it's a reflection of kind of where the world's at, and it's also a pantomime that's playing out that is showing us exactly the moronic and also the mayhem that is across what has been occurring since 2020. And I think at the end of the day, what we're seeing there is, you know, a large sector of the draconian reptilian race that is stamping their foot because they've been backed into a corner. It's like they've been pushed into a cage and the lock's been thrown away. So they're thrashing at the moment, literally. And they're asserting their authority. Now, whatever your situation is or whatever you believe about Trump or Biden, that's fine. There's no wrong or right decision here. But what you basically are seeing is a battle of the warlords. So from that point of view, we tend to take sides, which is fine, and we'll wait for the outcomes. But just be aware that, you know, the outcome has already been determined. You know, this is a judicial system, and we know how corrupt the judicial system is. So from that point of view, that part of it is actually quite senseless, and that's already been worked out, and you'll see that unfold over the coming months. But what the more important part of it actually is if you go into the psyche of it, is very strong. And we'll talk about reptilians today because I've earmarked them as one of the starseeds I want to talk about. But just as an insight into them, you know, they have an extraordinarily powerful sensory system in them, but they also have a very strong, powerful sense of the way that they live. And if their back's against the wall, or if there's a situation that needs to be changed, they will use whatever destructive forces that they actually have. So where you see an election that is coming around the corner there, it's very difficult for, say, the likes of Trump or even someone else within his party to stand election for or to go against Biden, because he's going for his second term, as we all know, if you've been indicted. So if you're having a criminal investigation occurred to you at the moment, there's not a hope in hell that you can stand for to become a president. So interesting timing that they've actually launched the attack on him from a political point of view, because it will pretty much eliminate him from the race of actually being able to stand for a president whilst there's a large criminal investigation going on, or a judicial investigation. But hence the same can be for Biden too. This is where the play comes in, is that Trump's lawyers have actually said that, you know, they've got a lot of evidence against him too. So just say for kicks, if the whole thing gets switched and suddenly he's been indicted, then he can't run for his second term. So it's a moving of the magnets. It's fascinating to watch the chess game. And it's not really about a winner and loser here. That doesn't exist. It's really about a power struggle. It's about moving the energy forces. Who's standing in the way of, you know, the tyranny? Who's actually there that needs to be pushed aside? And they'll take whatever bloody means it is. You know, they'll lie, they'll bitch, they'll do whatever it is. They don't give a shit about your emotions, or there's no empathy. It's about get out of the way. We've got a mission to run. So yeah, just a neat little insight into what's going on. And I just thought, you know, everyone at the moment's feeling very, very chaotic, very lost, being pulled from one thread to the other. And that's really just something to look at and go, well, yeah, okay, it's not just me. It's the world playing out this unbelievable pattern at the moment. So yeah, just thought I'd raise it because it's just a really strong topic at the moment. I'm getting a lot of people asking me about it and what my opinion is. Now, obviously, I'm not American and I have zero interest in American politics, but I look at it more from an energy point of view and make my own assumptions from there. So.
Yeah, and that's really what people like us are going to speak to, that galactic chessboard. And, just these comments are so amazing that have just come in that I've put up as well. Everyone listening here really, really sees through it as to what actually is occurring and how the dark will always serve the light, no matter what. They don't intend to. That reptilian force, as you said, Chris, lacks empathy. They'll use whatever's in their arsenal. They will outright lie. That's what we're dealing with. But unbeknownst to them, even though it's not their intention, the dark will always serve the light. It will always propel us into that upgraded version of ourselves. And so I love these comments because everyone gets it. It's amazing. It doesn't matter where your allegiance is. It's always zooming out and seeing the bigger picture. You can love Trump or not love Trump. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what the movement is about, and everyone is playing their role. And for me, ever since 2020, I just had that saying with me: "He is the Trump card." Now that for some people they interpret that means he's a savior. Other people interpret that, okay, he's negatively polarized, but he's a Trump card. He creates awakening. Everyone's entitled to be in resonance with their own truth on this, because we all see the chessboard from a different angle, the game from a different angle, and we must hold true to what we know. No truther can tell you the truth. Only you can tell you the truth. They may point in certain directions and open certain portals for you to see things from a different angle, but you know.
Definitely. I mean, I just as you guys talk about it, I can just feel the back of the brainstem as we talk about this. That, and just sort of to add to that, around our own reptilian brain. I know we're going to talk about reptilians as a cohort in a second, I guess, but it just feels like we're really, there's a lot of I was just got a bit of a download before we got on today around parallel psyops. You know what I mean? Parallel psyops between mainstream and our community. That there's many psyops overlaid upon on overlaid, and that we just have to, like you guys said, come back to our truth right now, or what feels true to us in the moment. And yes, I agree around the getting us to awaken in regards to what is presented to us on the world stage and how it is presented. There does feel like there's a thrashing around and a ramping up of the chaos, and the narratives are coming at us left, right, and center. And I feel that is why it's so important right now to do the inner work as well around the brainstem, around the nervous system, so that we don't get hijacked into this reptilian agenda. Yeah, so that we don't get, so that we can suss it out when it comes in towards us, whether it's through our own astral plane or whether it's through other people in our life. And as you guys said, come back to balance in whatever ways is right for you at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so perfect, because the only way through the ascension portal is alignment. You cannot be at the ends of the spectrum. You can't be, in a political sense, we might say left wing or right wing. There'd be other ways to describe it depending on what lens you're viewing it through. But ascension can only, we're in a polarity realm. So ascension can only happen when the polarities collapse or merge. That's alignment is the center point to move through the ascension portal. You see ascension spiral, you have to go through the center ultimately. You can loop out and check out all these different angles of how life works, 3D works, but eventually, once you get sick of it, you go through the center, you align,
And some people are actually saying, all the stuff that's going on now between the two sides in the USA is actually to bring about enough frustration and enough, I guess, revolutionary energy within USA to invite another system, to come up from the ground roots. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next in midterms for sure.
Absolutely. I'm loving the comments. I think, I feel that's why the lives are just so beautiful to do, because we get to interact with some really high dimensional beings who, see very clearly and can add to the narrative. And we don't all have to agree. That's the beautiful thing. There's a way to have these conversations where we can bring perspective from our own angle and really, walking together as one through this ascension portal. For those who are choosing it at this time, we all hold a very unique piece of the puzzle. And so there's that coming together, that true unity where we have absolute respect for each other. And we know that we need each other's piece of the puzzle to do this. And so this is what's so powerful. So yeah, loving it. Probably, oh, sorry, Amy, I think that probably cut your comment off there, but hopefully people who are on Facebook can see that one. So, okay, let's get into it.
Yes.
So for those who didn't watch the first show, we're going to have a discussion from Chris's book. I'll put the link up for that if you're wanting to grab that one for the Starseeds. And then Michael's going to anchor codes. When we get to the reptilian part, Michael, I thought maybe you can speak from maybe the ascended side of the reptilians, King Lizard or something like that, that's bringing in positive messages, because we're certainly not going to bring in any,
sure.
energy today.
It's the weekend anyway, But yeah, for sure. I feel like we're actually guided. I feel like we're very deeply held by Metatron, by Angel Michael, by many legions of angelics that are here holding the space with us today. I feel like we're protected, we're hidden from view slightly, and that whatever comes through is in divine order for everyone watching and ourselves. So, yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. Well, let's lighten the mood a bit.
Yeah.
Because that was all very intense.
Oh my goodness.
I've handpicked a few today, which sort of more of an energy thing. I thought, okay, where's this conversation going to go today? So literally, like life, all star seeds that I write about, or light workers, they're all completely magnificent in every facet. But the ones that sort of came through today, it's a little mixed bag of licorice all sorts, because that's kind of where we're all at the moment. So we're going to go from sort of, some fluffy and light stuff through to a little bit darker stuff, to everything in between.
Sounds great.
So, so the first one is an extraordinary category, because it's you. It's everyone out there that's here right now. And I've broken it down into, and you've probably heard all these ones, it's the indigo, crystal, rainbow, and the light workers. The light workers is actually a separate one. The indigo, crystal, and rainbow I've categorized as one to give you a bit of an idea. But today, just for kicks, I'm going to throw the light worker one in there as well, just because it's kind of aligned to who we are at the moment. So just as per, if anyone's familiar with last week's show, we basically just read a little bit of a passage out of my book that describes each of the Starseeds, and it's not a 3-page thesis on the Starseeds. It's just a couple of paragraphs. So don't get your knickers in a knot if you didn't say that. It's more about just giving you a bit of an insight into, kind of giving you an energy insight into exactly what they are. And because I'm very well rehearsed, I've got a special gift today too. Did it on my own time. Is that I've written 5 points on each of the Starseeds that we're going to talk about today, just to see if you resonate to any of them. Because I went away and had a bit of an energy sit down and thought, right, I know all of these Starseeds. What do they resonate? What comes out of them? Because last time we were sort of just talking about them, and then we went straight into kind of all the light worker stuff. But just sort of go an extra mile today, just for you.
Oh.
So wonderful. I look forward to it.
All right. Enough. Okay, let's start with the indigo, crystal, rainbow, and light workers. So I'll talk about indigo, crystal, and rainbow first. Individuals from these 3 soul groups often possess special or supernatural abilities, including telepathy, clairvoyance, light working, energy cleansing, deep empathy, and reality shifting. Indigos are infused with the power of Archangel Michael and can be stubborn in their intolerance of unfairness. Crystals are infused with the light, joy, and clarity of Archangel Gabriel and tend to be fairer and kinder than the indigo or rainbow siblings. Rainbow children are the latest way of detachment from the physical world. They bring joy and harmony to those that cross their path and are primarily here to help humanity evolve. So these 3 groups see interactions with this world as a spiritual exercise instead of personally advancing. And I'll just seek to assist in up-leveling humanity and the consciousness of everyone around them. Primary purpose is to spread kindness and goodness and love and energy to every living being they meet. Light workers are not to be beholden to any planet, culture, society, or mission. They work solely for light. And I'll just
hey guys, I've lost them. Can you still see me? I'm hoping that they come back online.
we're live. Hopefully we can get Michael back in. I don't like us talking. I don't like talking about this. All right, thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for the comments. Send some energy for the Wi-Fi guys, all the live workers here. Send us some energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not unusual when we get into these kind of topics. Everything gets a bit glitchy. Hopefully we can stay with you. So anyway, we'll just okay, cool. We'll just repeat the last part about the rainbow. Thank you so much, lovely. Appreciate that, and all the other comments. Thanks.
Yes, I think we got up to. I was just obviously read out what was in the book about the light workers, indigo, rainbow, crystals, etc., etc. So just a couple of quick points, just to see if you resonate to whether you're one of those, So if you're one of those categories, sometimes you feel alienated, regardless of what planet or system you reside on. So there's a sense of alienation. Learners, they learn to adapt and highly intelligent. The other one is that they're highly rebellious. They don't align to certain structures or rules. They live for their higher purposes and their visions.
Oh, we're it's all going.
It's
Come on,
tricky, guys.
internet. Stay with us. All right. So,
Can you hear me okay? Oh, they've gone again. So, guys, can you still see me when we're waiting for the Carrie and Chris to come back?
okay, I just switched to the local Wi-Fi, so we'll just see if this works a little bit better.
That looks clearer, hey? Yeah.
We're in Vanuatu. Chris and I are in Vanuatu, where I've moved to. So
Beautiful.
it could be that. We're not sure. Anyway, we're using the local data now.
Okay.
We're back.
Cool. So there was just about the last minute or so we lost it. But I guess do you want to repeat anything, Chris? Or
I think you go, Michael. Let's see what you just add a little bit.
I guess the place that the energy that came through was really about that sense of alienation that you mentioned, that many of that cohort experience in their lives. And this energy is really just a welcome, I guess, welcoming in energy for any beings that are watching that are, I guess, feeling the tug of home off planet, and also feeling maybe a little lost and confused by the the extreme polarization of narratives of the day, that they don't feel energetically matches their home, if you will. So it's about this is a welcoming to this home, making this earthly realm your home, this life, so that you can really activate your mission. Because for many of us, I know for a while there, I didn't really want to put my feet on the ground, of this planet. And so it was only when I sort of grounded more and said, yes, I have a right to be here, blah, 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 and wanted to be more here, connecting with the earthly elementals and such like, that, you really empower and ground yourself to access your higher frequencies through your astral. So basically, enough said. I'm just going to bring some energy for, it feels like the central channel around a blessing of belonging. Okay. Working with the energy of Archangel Michael, it's specifically. Feel his sword at your spine. Feel the warrior that you are. Feel the power surging through your centers. You are blessed to create on this plane. I give you the courage of my sword. Belong, children, belong. You belong now.
Wow. Well, the amazing thing, Michael, is that before Chris, and you didn't know what he was going to read out, you were already tuning into Archangel Michael, and then Chris spoke about him, and then, that was, wow, I felt that sword at my spine. And, how perfect, because we are in a galactic battle. It's all by design. We all scripted it. We tend to, with our spiritual amnesia, we tend to forget who we are at the source code level, and that we actually scripted it. And so, we witness a lot of people in the victim mode. When is this going to end? I'm sick of holding on, victim. And hey, guys, I get it. I'm having a 3D experience as well. It's rough. I get it. And you need to purge, you need to vent. The online community is wonderful because everyone supports each other. But, feeling the power and the prowess of Michael coming in there is just beautiful.
And Gabrielle as well is in there as well. So, look, a lot of the Starseeds are aligned to certain angelic figures as well. That they see them as their prototype. So, and obviously, Michael, Gabrielle,
Uriel.
All of them are just unbelievable when it comes to their
feeling them.
What energy that they provide. So if you
I think, and it's interesting, guys. Just a quickie before you continue, Chris. It was something that came in yesterday as just sort of as a download in prep. I think for today, it's just that the angelics are galactic beings. We may call them angelics, but I feel like they are at some level galactic beings. So of course we would connect with, we connect with these beings, 100%.
So I've actually got Rama who's sitting in the green room. Rama, if you're, I just having a feeling like to bring you on now rather than just close out the show. I'm just going to bring you up if you're ready, darling. And hey there, Rama.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just feeling like after Michael does his light language, do you want to do a bit of music? Because I think maybe that's a better way to blend it all together. So
sure, I'm ready when you guys are ready. So let me know.
Let's just do a little intro for you first. So tell us a little bit about you and your musical background, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I started playing guitar when I was 9, and I spent quite a long time with the classical guitar, and so then I graduated to electric guitar when I found rock and roll and all that. So I've been playing sitar now since about 96. So 1996 I went to India, and I fell in love with the place and the people and the music, obviously, and brought a sitar back with me, and I've been into it ever since. So been playing since about 96, so close to almost 30 years now. Oh my God. If my math is correct, which who knows.
Oh, you're incredible. Like, you've been putting some videos up in the Lightworkers Lounge group, and it's like, oh, wow. So Rama was a name given to you in India, is your spiritual name? Yeah,
my birth name was Ramachandra. My parents were Hare Krishnas, so I grew up in the Hare Krishna movement. And
I downloaded this yesterday. I'm saying to Chris, I'm downloading. It's exactly what I said. Yay, confirmation.
Yeah. So I was a Hare Krishna kid, and then I kind of got out of the movement. My dad's still in it. My mom got out of it, and but I kept Rama as my middle name. So yeah, it kind of came full circle with that, the whole Indian influence thing. Couldn't get away from it.
Blessed to have you here. So, well, if we work this, Chris can read out a little bit about Starseeds. Michael can do some light language, and if you just want to come in and just play and just anchor some codes with the music as well, we're really going to allow these Starseed codes to come into our being today. What a gift to have you here. So I'll just address this one, Amy. We did have a brief chat right at the top of the show about some of the archangels being compromised. We'll cover it again really quickly, but we did kind of go into this. So I might hand that one to you, Chris, about the light and shade within the angelics.
Yeah, look, the archangels play a monstrously important role in shaping what's going on here energetically, because as we were just talking about before, is the energy that we are attracted to with our various archangels, whether it's a Michael or a Gabriel or a Raphael. The reason we're attracted to them is because they're attracted to you. So it's like a little partnership where if we have that fighting quality within us, or we've got that sense of injustice, then you might be something like a Michael. You've got the fire in the belly. You want to move forward. You can't see what's going on here is serving humanity. But then you've got the other ones, like a Gabriel, who I have had a lot of chats with as well. That he comes from very much a place of balance and harmony. He's often found in the Akashic records when you go into having a download or an energy with him, he'll pop in and talk you through your past, present, and life journeys. So very much that sort of family type figure. So archangels, depending on what energy alignment they have, is what you will be attracted to. In answer to the question that came up about are they being compromised with the warring that's going on? Absolutely. But just be aware that the energy that's on the planet at the moment is very much human enforced. We are the primary beings that are here. We have more control over this situation than you think. So if you want to stay in that warmongering arrangement, then of course you will be inviting those deities in. And therefore, the more that we go into the astral and we see a lot of these deities fighting, it's because of the energy portal that you have allowed them to actually slipstream into. That doesn't mean that they are that they're here for a purpose that is not meant of great integrity. It just means that they are literally playing out what you've invited them here to do. So
it actually works the same in the Devic realms as well. So a lot of people who are light workers are more connected to the fairy realms. I don't know why I'm being told to say this, the hobbits. I know that sounds very Lord of the Rings, but even the dolphins and the whales and these kind of forces, and fairies and elves and all of these beautiful creatures also will mirror your ego. So if they are mischief makers, so they will come in. If you're a golden heart, they're going to set up the 3D, the earthscape in a really harmonious way for you. They're going to, leave you little gifts. However, if you're of the ego, they're going to thwart you a lot because it's almost like they're nitpicking at you. Hey, wake up, remember who you are. Hey, wake up, remember who you are. And it seems like, why is there so many blockages in my path? So they can steal from you in all sorts of things, the elven realm. So maybe going a little bit far out today, but I think we're in good company. We can go there. So remember, everything's a mirror of self. Everything out there in the hologram is a mirror of self. And so sometimes you're coming up against something really dastardly. It doesn't mean you're dastardly, the bigger part of you is dastardly. It's just that there's an element within you that needs refinement, that needs cleaning up. So, I think people who bag out the archangels are, not seeing that it's just a reflection of self. So,
absolutely.
All right, let's keep on going.
All right. So the next one that I thought we might move into is more of a heartfelt, loving starseed. So the one that I picked out is the Venusians, who we all know the planet of Venus, or even star Venus, and we're all very familiar when we've all been tapped on the shoulder by the love of Venus. We start to feel gooey inside and want to cuddle someone. Or so the Venusians. Is it possible that other planets in our solar system once supported life and still could in other dimensions and planes of existence? This includes Venus, which brings us to the Venusian starseeds. Venusians live in the fourth dimension, and they are also called the Hathors. Hathor is an ancient Egyptian cow goddess of love and motherhood. It's said she's from Venus and seeded Venusians on Earth to teach love. And I'll just give you, again, 5 points that came up in my downloads about the Venus energy. Obviously, the first one that came through is their love beings. Devoted also to philosophies. They have specific duties. They possess the magic of kindness, and they're extremely high vibration in the connection of partnerships. And something they asked me to say is it's also a lot to do with twin flame energy as well. So when we see the twin flame energy spiral, a lot of that is to do with the Venusian energy as well. Is that partnership? It's the intertwining spiral. It's not a singular spiral. So, thank you. Just relay that one.
So beautiful, and for those with the twin flame code in them for this particular round of the galactic cycle or the galactic game, you will often be thwarted from really merging with the twin flame, because once that flaming happens, no reptilian, no negative, zeta reticuli is able to sort of penetrate through, that twin flame energy. People think it's some romantic ideal. No, it's not necessarily. It may include romance, but it's more about a joining for a higher mission, and that's ultimately what's going on. So often it is interfered with. And I know I interact with many people that know that they're coming into that twin flame union, and boy, it gets challenging because you've got to do so much cleanup work in your own internal environment, but then, merging with another high dimensional being. Well, that's interesting. So anyway, take it away, Michael. And then Rama, you go straight away after Michael once he finishes, if that's good.
Sweet. That sounds good. So this card I actually picked today, Hathor. Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. And the energy that came through when Chris was speaking about the Venusian Hathor frequency is this high heart space here that many of these people that identify with this frequency have had such a powerful love aspect in other planes that coming to this plane, it is very hard for them because their intensity of their love nature is quite a lot for some people. This is an opening of the high heart from the Hathors, and this is specifically around soul mission by unification of this spiral that Carrie was talking about internally, to help them do the internal balance piece, which allows them to meet with their twin energy, whether it be on planet or off planet, astrally, and be able to unify that frequency within and do the work they need to do. Yeah. So having said all that, just listen to the sound. Okay. Okay. Shebato da ke patata karaka na kapata karaka shele parko to ke patata karaka pogoda na ka shele koto shala buko ke petikanda karaka shikapato ke shela parka rush katarke rush kaparika rush kapato karaka do ke patata kapato kara. It is safe now to release the shield around your high heart. It is safe now to release the shield around your high heart. It is safe now to release the shield around your high heart. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Michael, thank you. It was nice meeting you. And
Angela, my dear.
I'm assuming it's my time to go with
Your time,
Yeah.
darling. Go for it.
Let's see.
Of course, yeah. Please do. Please do.
quick
It's the
intention.
Venus energy, Rama. Could be time for a power ballad.
Yeah.
Bit of Def Leppard, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes my playing does lead to tears, but today let's focus on my intention for this playing. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you all for having me out. I really appreciate it, and thank you for listening. I'm very grateful to be here. And so I just want to set the intention for these notes. For all of us to be able to level up our own discernment, and so that we are not led astray by false light any longer, and that we are having a clear illuminated path in front of us, and let these notes chip away at anything that might be holding us back from our ultimate paths.
Oh, so beautiful. Hang around, Rama, because let's keep going with our Starseeds and see if you can get some vibes going. We're actually going to get into the negatively polarized star beings, which will be interesting. So that was divine.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, it felt like we were sitting in a Hathor temple. So thank you so much. So beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you.
I hope the audio was okay. This is the first time testing out my whole system on a live stream, so I have no idea how it sounds on your guys' end. So hopefully it was okay.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. So beautiful.
It's an ear massage.
Like I literally feel like, yeah, and my meridians are actually running. Like it's got my meridian system like, yeah, jiving.
Cool.
Right. Well, we've gone from the love side of life, and we're going to go to the other side. I want to put a clause in here. What I've written was done back in 2020, so there was a lot going on. So what may come across as a touch on the negative side, which is important that aspect is actually outlined. But what I do want to say is that with the reptilians, there's actually, let's preface it to say there's reptilian A's and reptilian B's. So there's not all dark reptilians or Dracos. It's far from the truth, whether you want to believe that or not. You know, there's some extraordinary Dracos that are here with an amazing sense of spirituality, gifts and powers, very high dimensional in medicines and science, and it can be absolutely used for the good. It's just that unfortunately, here on planet Earth, we have a situation where we have a lot of reptilian bees, and that is kind of what we've become involved with. Just hang on a sec, let me get these notes
I'll
up.
just mention, Chris and I have actually done a number of astral missions. We, work in a group, but also just with each other and solo, like many people do. And we have had many meetings with Lord Draco, King Lizard, whatever your terminology for him is. For anyone who has read Barbara Handclau's book, which is to do with, she channels from the Pleiadians, and she talks a lot about King Lizard, and he is benevolent. He is, an ascended reptilian. And so within our astral missions, we've had many a meeting, and that faction, if you want to call it, are assisting to clean up what's happening here, because there is an overlay, there is a false matrix overlay here on Earth, and it is fundamentally run by the Zeta Reticuli, who will also be known as the grey aliens. You've got tall greys and small greys, and the reptilians, the negatively polarized reptilians. There would be some other factions in there, like Orion Bees and these kind of groups, but just know, for anyone that just wants to sort of cast them all aside, just know that there are their own kind that are working feverishly in the other dimensions to assist us to clean up the mess here. So it's very fascinating once you get into the depths of it all.
And they are an absolute necessity. They are required without question in the entire star system. They play an extraordinarily important role. So from that point of view, we're all thinking, we've got to eradicate, destruct. That's so far from the truth. But what we are seeing here is, there's a lot of chaos, it's got their thumbprint on it, but it's also got a lot of human thumbprint on it too. We've got to take responsibility for our own actions here too. So it's not just about blame, I'm a victim.
Because we do in the amygdala, we do have our reptilian brain. So we have a propensity to go into the reptilian features or codes, particularly when the ego gets very geared up and we're into the dog eat dog. Even there's an unspoken law within business that it's okay to be ruthless. No, it's not. Never okay to be ruthless. Money it's not all about money and the bottom line of profits. That's not the higher pathways. And yet many people allow themselves to be sucked into that reptilian vortex, feeling, that's what you do in business. No, we all have to up level and rise out of that.
Yeah. Okay, let's give a bit of a description out of the book. Reptilian, also known as lizard people, Surians, and Draconians. These shapeshifters seek to control Earth in the pursuit of a selfish benefit. Reporting on the reptilian, my notes say they seek political power on Earth to manipulate human societies, cultures, and human development. Many believe that some reptilians are living among us with altered physical appearances. Others say that reptilian spirits enter the bodies of our most prized politicians and leaders and sway them away from values and decisions that would benefit the people here. Luckily, the reptilians have many enemies who live in the light and their mission is to combat all the darkness. So the 5 points that came up about the reptilians, where there are some positive points in here, particularly about how we probably would like to perceive ourselves. And one is I see them as power, strength, and stamina. So they will see it out. And we do have a lot of those in our business life as well. When shit hits the fan and we've got to try and work our way through our business life, that we have that stamina and that ability to see it through. They're confident. So they're a confident personality and are very demanding and very commanding, which is two different things. Highly adaptable, but they do have a very limited psychic ability. Very guarded with emotions, and some would even say even emotionless and lack empathy. Experts in body language, communication, mind reading, and mind altering. They're the ones that came through.
They're incredible at technology. They have so many positive positive traits. So Alchemist Frequency Healer is asking, is there anyone who encounters the reptiles in 5D? Yeah, there's definitely more high dimensional reptilians. 5D is, you know, your 0 point consciousness or the unconditional loving realm. I might actually hand that one over to Michael. See what I know that's a big question. Just see what.
Thank you for that, Carrie.
Yeah, well, because what I want to say and what I'm being told energetically, because I want to say, oh no, negative energy can't exist within those realms. Yes, it can bleed into all dimensions, bleed into each other. So,
sure.
Yeah.
I would say, what is the what is your reason for the question? The person that asked it, what is the reason for the question? I would say that there's polarities even in the fifth. Yes, it is a 0 point field, but you know, we're still working on stuff. They want us to stay with the 3D vessel right now. They want us to stay with the 3D vessel right now, because if we can transform this planet, we'll transform the fifth. But there are more realized, if you want to call it that. I haven't had any personal experience, by the way. But there's what I get told is that there are beings that are overseeing on the fifth what is happening with the reptilians here on Earth. That so even though it might be like an outplay of negativity or dark stuff or whatever you want to call it, that that this is, like Chris was saying, like you both were saying, like that is a necessary part of the experience of this planet to come back into balance. So they are just playing their role. And so I feel like there's more benevolent beings in the fifth that are overseeing the outplay of what's happening here right now. Yeah, if that kind of answers.
Yeah,
I would say protectors. Yeah, I would agree.
They're great protectors. And you know, I've been shown, and it did bother me to begin with, and I kept going back into the astral to check that what I was seeing was correct, because my 3D mind didn't accept this. But I was being shown there's some of them that are actually protecting the children, and you know they're working in the tunnel systems to get those children out. So yeah, it's. I know that's a lot for people to wrap their heads around, you know, if you're aware of what has been going on in the tunnel systems. But some of them are definitely protectors of children. And so, again, there's polarity within everything, you know. There's truth and deception within everything. We can't just be black and white. So definitely some are protectors. So, yeah, great conversation.
Just one of the things about the protector side is spot on, because you also look at dragon energy. So the dragons, which are the Dracos. So we all, as a child, grew up about the great stories of the dragons, and so when you think about that, you know, it's that fire element. It's that stand their ground. They are monumental. They will not back down. So we can utilize that that dragon fire within us as well, which technically is reptilian or Draco. So it's always good and bad and stuff.
I mean, even Metatron coming through as a theme at the top of the show, you know, he's a seraphim. So they are of that draconian lineage. You know, Alpha Draconis is that star system that embodies all of their kind. So the dragons and the seraphims and fascinating. So Michael, you know, see what comes through from a positively polarized.
So this feels this is just I feel like it's to do with our own nervous system, vagus nerve in particular. It's working through the midline, parallel with the central channel. It's working right into the center of the perineum floor, all the way up to the back of the heart, and also the brainstem, and it's sort of releasing out an energy or a matrix or a loop of energy that has been that I guess it's our own tie back to the reptilian energy limbically in our nervous system, and it's also where we can get hijacked through I would just I just say it, sexuality, you know. So that distortion of that sort of energy and how we can get disrupted. Yeah. So again, having said all that, just listen to the energy, move it through your body, and see what you feel. Yeah. So it's a releasing of our own, I guess, energy of our connection to that lineage, so that we can be freed from hijack. Is what I hear, and that we can see the positive in the overarching energy that they bring to the planet. Ishka didi goshende bodu du 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 shibanda regi beshile barki barkanda da 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 shibada da 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 ka shile badi ando tu tu diki banana na shakata kateka pati ki 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 shile barki kandar shibadar ki andar ki 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 shalabar ki kandaraka shalabar ki kandaraka shalabaka teatachi Shilabarki kantar ki kolapa, shalabaka shalabarka, shalabarki anana shala, shalabaki alaka shalabuko, shalabaki shebadi kalakar, shalabaki shelebarka, shushu shilebarki, shushu shelebaki ki kanaraka, shebadi koraka tatataka, shagarari eleka. So I would say that energy was King Lizard. Ashandurskiski, very warrior-like, saying that we have to, as a species, do the inner work right now. We have to free the collective sacral. We have to free our inner children. As we work with our inner child wounding, whatever that may be, individually, we are then freeing a hiddenness which will allow the stopping of the tunnels, the trafficking, and such like.
Whoa, that was intense. I literally was shaking up there in that, cervical vertebrae. It was just trying to bust through something. So what a gift.
Powerful.
Rama, if you feel like, just a really short piece, just to anchor those codes with some music, if you feel like you can, bring through some music there for us. That was a wild one, Michael.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we're just getting treated today. The master's in the house. Oh, between that light language, but then the sitar came in. My kundalini's like whooshka, whooshka, whooshka. So if you're at home and you're just doing that anti-clockwise spiral, obviously I've been a yoga teacher for 25 years, and that's what we do in yoga. We sit there like hippies, just rotating. You have to let the kundalini move. Don't be embarrassed about. You either sway side to side if there's a bit of a block, or front to back. But once it gets gearing, you literally are doing an anti-clockwise spiral, and you let that energy go, because that's your bliss code starting to erupt. That's your serpent energy, your rainbow serpent erupting up through your spine. So some powerful energy going on here. So look, let's just do one more, because I know we're already nearly at an hour and a half. So who's going to get through, Chris? Who's coming in?
Well, I had 2 left, so I'm going to throw the balls in the air. Look, because we've had the reptilian energy there, which is more of a stronger, more powerful type energy, then there's really only one way to balance it out. And we're going to everyone's favourite characters, the Andromedans. So the Andromedans. So Andromedans are an extraordinary race, and we do have a lot of connection to them. For those that are more into their astrologies and astronomy, they actually are a separate galaxy. We are here in the Milky Way, which is where our planet resides, and these are our friendly neighbours, so just across the way. So if you are doing some bit of astral work, feel free to drop in and say hello. They're always very welcoming. Often popped in there myself just for a bit of a reprieve, a bit of time out, a bit of massage, a bit of day spa.
Fabulous.
So, okay, Andromeda. This loving, benevolent, and telepathic race is from the spiral-shaped Andromeda galaxy, otherwise known as MS-31 or M31. These beautiful beings have one mission: to bring peace and love to the races enslaved by not only the reptilians, but all races that are causing a lot of trauma. Not only are their heart-centered Andromedan beings loving, but they are also intellectually advanced and masters in all categories of science. This balance of the left and right brain gives Andromedans a unique position in the universe. And just some information about that again, the 5 points that I came up with. They have a light or a white aura. They're very innocent and childlike, but they're not childish. So there's a big difference there. Massive observers and very introverted. Hugely empathic. They guard their emotions, but from the same time, that is usually due to the eons of previous traumas that they've actually suffered, because they are a very benevolent type being. Extremely empathic and very highly spiritual.
Yeah, and I just want to add, because it's really downloading, to say that these type of beings are being targeted at the moment because you have a very soft, loving, generous, and trusting heart. And I'm going to go back to what Michael was talking about with the sword at the spine. I'm being shown that you must pick up your sword. It's not natural for these type of star beings or star seeds to take Excalibur, but it's very important that you go and investigate the very profound teachings with King Arthur and why Excalibur is so important at the moment. And for those particular soft-hearted, very trusting souls, make sure you've got sword in hand. You look at the Orion star system, they have sword and shield. You know, they're the ultimate galactic warriors. Sometimes they need to put their shield down and open their heart. So it's not about sword and shield all the time. It's about balancing. It's about knowing what you need moment to moment and adjusting and adapting as we go through this galactic battle. But in particular, the soft-hearted people, you're here to bring love codes. Absolutely you are. But don't be afraid to pick up Excalibur. Angel Sword, thank you.
Just one thing I will say
awesome.
on Andromedans as well is that even though they come from a very soft and gentle and empathic type of energy field, they have a warrior side to them. Well, you know, that there's a part of them that's not to be messed with. You know, when the time comes, they will drop the hammer. And so that point of view, yeah, just don't think they're in a marshmallow type race. Far from it. So I just want to enlighten that point as well.
Yeah. Michael.
Okay, well. So I just want to introduce this little piece that came to me on Friday. I feel like he's an Andromedan dragon, yeah? Andromedan rose quartz dragon. And he is And something, and I'm going to work on this in an activation in the next week or two, I reckon. But definitely Andromedan, and I've also getting a strong Mary Magdalene connection with the Andromedan frequency, and how and so I feel like she wants to come in as a galactic being rather than a human counterpart from Andromeda, actually. And this is around your heart third eye connection, and this is also this piece around standing your ground, standing your ground, and knowing that when Mary Magdalene felt bereft because she lost her love, and she went into hiding because nobody thought that a woman should be a teacher back in the day of the Christ light. So this is about knowing that you have a place, regardless of what has happened to you, regardless of how much rejection, how much energy has been put against you. This is about standing firm in the knowledge of your light and your mastership, or woman mastership, whatever you want to call it these days. I don't know but in regards to the truth that you are. Yeah. Okay. So just take in the energies that you will and notice what you notice. Yeah. We stand with you, with the Andromedans. We stand with you as you move forward now. And so it is. So it is. So it is. Amen.
Oh, very, very, very special for me, that one. I kind of want to shinuki sikai kuna shika unaki noa shikina squai kina shikunaki shuka.
So, my love, just remember that everything is in a divine alignment. Everything is perfect. This is a deep releasing for you.
Thank you. Rama. I'm going to call you the magic man. Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm getting to that point again where I have no words. It just touches the heart. So we'll wrap it up. But we have a question come in. If you guys can answer, does your body have a buzzing in it? It's 24/7 for me. Yeah. So Kundalini, meridians, chakras, it's all up leveling. The vibration is increasing. So, and also too, I would just deeply suggest to people, if your nervous system is feeling attacked, the best thing you can do is literally shake get into shaking, because like animals who are, you know, being attacked in the wild, when they survive it, they shake it off. We need to shake things off all the time. So if you're not doing yoga or some kind of, you know, energy movement, dance is, I would even say, better than yoga. But whatever it is, could be running for you, could be gardening, could be playing music, obviously. But whatever it is for you, you know, get the vibration going. We're vibrational beings. So, but yeah, I would say for you, I mean, even your, you know, your handle name there, Alchemist Frequency Healer, you know who you are. You're a powerful being. So, closing words.
I love that.
Is that a comment about the elliptical nature of my head?
Not at all. It's, you know, some of the best heads like yours, Rama, are the best guitar players in the world. Joe Satriani comes to mind. You know.
Joe, yeah, he's a good one. Yeah, Steve Vai as well, but he might not have the same kind of head.
Okay. I'm going to try and get through all these comments, but you know, let's start with you, Rama. Just closing words for our show.
Again, I just want to thank you guys for having me. It was very nice to be surrounded with like-minded individuals doing wonderful things in the world, and you know, sharing your beautiful frequencies and giving me a chance to share mine as well. So that's what it's all about. We lift each other up, and we'll get through this together. So thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to doing it again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you'll come back. Sure. And Michael, closing words.
Yeah, I'm a bit lost for words too. I echo everything that Rama said. Thank you for sharing your sweet music with us today. And Chris, thank you for sharing your wisdom, and Carrie, just being you. I love you. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to co-create, and I love the way we inspire each other. So thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful show. So, Chris, final words.
Yeah, just emphasising once again, you know, thank you for the platform to be able to speak freely and openly with some absolutely gorgeous people out there that really do get it. And it's nice to know we're not alone in this crazy world. So, you know, we only really touch the iceberg on a lot of the starseeds that are out there. You know, it's just a little tippet to be able to help people realise that, yeah, we're all in it together, and it's just fantastic to know that there's people tuning in that are taking their own precious time to create some goodness out there. My heartfelt blessings to you all.
Yeah, Graham, respect, man. Yeah, absolutely. Love you all so much. Thank you so much, Rama. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Andromedans, Pleiadians. Thank you to the grey aliens. Come on.
We love them all.
That's right.
Wow, we've had some interference.
We got some interference. Guys, love you guys who are all tuning in, because I think, you know, again, I want to just speak to, you know, the high caliber, high dimensional beings that we get to interact with here on these incredible platforms, because it's, I sort of have no words for the people that, you know, comment, because there's such incredible wisdom and downloads, and it all kind of, somehow we get these shows going and it all just sort of melts together, and it's very, very powerful. Getting to attune to the energies of the comments coming in and the people coming in. So we, yeah, just adore you and love you, and we'll be back. Michael and Raylene and myself are doing a show next Saturday on.
Is it next Saturday?
Is it next Saturday? Is it next Saturday? Anyway, we'll put a notification out. our Australian next Saturday, but be
Okay.
Friday night for the UK and Americans. And we're doing Lemuria and Atlantis, the Rising, focusing more so on Lemuria this time. Michael and I, you can go back more when we were doing the My Health podcast. It's in those shows. We did one on Atlantis Rising, but it's really about Lemuria merging with Atlantis at the moment. Yes, bring Rama in. We definitely will if he's available. Yeah.
Sure.
So anyway, we'll figure out our times, but that will be amazing. And here she is, the beautiful goddess herself, Raylene. So we'll over and out for now. Love you all, and see you very soon.
Thanks,
Namaste.
guys.
Namaste.